depression is just like a feeling of you not having or being in control?
Depression is something that I think most people feel ashamed about, and they want to try to hide it because it feels like this like weight that takes over you at any time, and you feel like a prisoner in your own body.
Depression to me, I mean, I guess the way everyone sees it is just like constant like sadness, but to me is like not feeling happy like anytime, or if I am happy, it's like a glimpse of it, whether it's like a minute or an hour, maybe like a day.
Like it's more than just, oh, I'm sad, I don't know why I'm sad. I feel like I'm sad, I know why I'm sad, but I can't do anything about it.
I feel like the depression hits, I wouldn't say every day, but maybe like almost every other day, and I could be in a great mood that day, and then all of a sudden the thoughts just start to flow, and you just start going down this hole that you can't get out of. So, and sometimes I feel trapped in my apartment for like 2-3 days because I just feel like I can't get out of it, even though I know I'm like looking at myself from the outside like, you're just going through this right now, like you're gonna get out of it, but it's hard to tell yourself that when you're in it in that moment.
It would probably just look like a waterfall, if that makes sense. Waterfalls never stop moving. It's kind of like crashing down.
When you actually have like long-term depression that's rooting from maybe something in your childhood or your past or whatever, like I feel like that really never goes away. Like it's just always lingering. You may not be hit with it like every day or every week, but it's still gonna be there, and it can show up at any time. Like you could be going through like a really good time in your life. Like you could have all these good things going for you, and you could be in a great mood and nothing really going wrong, and then just wake up and be like, you just feel like shit, and you feel like you weigh like 1,000 pounds and you can't get out of bed, and you have like 10 million things that you have to do that day and you can't do any of them.
Everyday life for me with depression was kind of like systematic. Like wake up, work, go home. I didn't really feel as happy as I normally did.
If it ever got too deep where I feel like I have too much like weight on my shoulders and I have to like find a psychiatrist, I won't say probably, I definitely won't do it. One, too prideful. Two, I honestly feel like why am I paying you for this? Because I don't feel like it's genuine. You're just getting the check. Even though you may feel like you genuinely care, but in my eyes, I can't see you as being genuinely like being cared, because I know if I don't pay you, you won't give me any type of services. So if that's the case, I might as well not even go to you, because I want a genuine person. I don't care. It's not even about what you're saying to me or be able to bounce off ideas. I want to be able to talk to a genuine heart, somebody who honestly cares about me, not somebody who just cares for me as a human. I want somebody who cares for Jihad, not the human.
And a therapy session for me was just like being like stuck with someone for an entire hour, and to me it was super uncomfortable. Even I think I went for like a good couple months, and it was still uncomfortable to me. I felt like she just asked me questions, and I feel like instead of observing and like actually listening to me, I felt like she kind of judged me a lot. I felt like I got more of her helping me. I felt like she told me how I should feel, given my situation and my age. She kind of threw statistics at me, which certain things I believe in statistics, but other things I feel like it doesn't, like that person doesn't always fall into that category. So she started trying to tell me, because of my age and my nationality and my, my race, that I shouldn't be feeling depressed. I think that people tend to favor certain races towards this type of situation. I hate to say it like that, but that's how I feel. I feel like they tend to favor certain races. So, for example, if a white guy was to fucking kill someone, instead of them saying, what he did, he should be justified, like he should be punished for his crime, people would be like, he's been going through like so many things, he has a mental illness, let's stick him in a psych ward, such and such and such. But if, let's say, an African American person or someone of color was to do the same thing, then they would call him a monster, he deserves to be punished, like they would say the worst thing that should happen for them, which I think is unfair. I'm not saying that this happens all the time, but I feel like in this type of cases, when it comes to mental illness, it happens quite often.
I first found out when I started seeing a therapist, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, and she really brought it to light that I'm living with all these things like depression, anxiety, PTSD, like all these things that I have been dealing with for several years, but I just didn't know what they were. Because it's true, a lot of people do say, oh, I'm depressed and this and that, so I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just in my feelings and I'm just sad. But it's like, when you have somebody like a professional tell you, then you're like, wow, okay.
It sucks. The way that my depression functions, I feel like it's like, how like they always say, like when you're making a decision and you have like the angel and like the devil on your shoulder, I feel like my depression is always on my shoulder. I feel like that's how it sits with me. I feel like it's everywhere with me, no matter where I go. When I go out, I don't go out to stay often, but like if I travel anywhere, no matter the location, the event, it could be fucking Christmas, and I feel like my depression will still be there. So it's literally everywhere, even when I don't want it to, because I try really hard to be optimistic about things, and like I'll try so hard to be optimistic, and my depression will be like, psych, get that shit out of here.
My therapist was a white woman, and I felt like there are certain things that she's not really gonna understand, from my point of view in my childhood. And she I don't really want to knock her because she did help me, but like you do bring up a good point though, because I was never gonna feel like we had that connection on that level. And I eventually stopped seeing her, but the one thing that she did do for me was she helped me realize that I do have these things, because I just didn't know before.
Depression contributed to my day in like numerous ways. Firstly, although time flew by, it felt much longer when I was not keeping myself busy, if that makes sense. If I wasn't at work, if I wasn't going somewhere, like I would just sit at home and I'd feel like I was there forever, just thinking about things. It was like a constant, it was like it was holding me. So for those few months that I was just working, I wasn't in school and I was depressed, I had to go out and do something. If I wasn't working that day, I went out somewhere. Well, I think what you see, like the surface of mental illness, is just like white people. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way or have like a negative connotation with what I'm saying, but you don't really see like commercials or shows about minorities or people of color with mental issues. I don't really see that. Usually, especially with depression, like I feel like that's just something the media portrays as like a white issue. And maybe they might not be doing it on purpose, or maybe most of the people that are depressed or talk about it are white, but I feel like especially in the black community, maybe it's not shameful, it's kind of like you just deal with it. Like we're not gonna go to down upon. Yeah, maybe it is shameful. Like we don't want to talk about it. Oh, you're depressed. Why are you depressed? There's so much other things going on right now. Get over it.
I'm sorry,
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's because that since
like black people, we supposed to have that.
Strength.
That strength.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be like, we're supposed to be hard. Like nothing's supposed to take us down.
You sad
Yeah.
Fuck you
Like
being
what
sad
the fuck
for?
you sad for? That's
And then they start to
exactly.
question like, what the fuck do you feel like you need to be sad for when such and such and such going through this and that?
Exactly.
It's like, that's
Exactly.
true, but what does that got to do with me?
Exactly.
That doesn't mean
But they
the
don't
problem
think of it
is
And you know
that way,
that's
though.
bad because it's like we're held up to certain expectations
I
just
try.
as black people that are so unrealistic. Like we're not supposed to be sad because we're black.